Do you feel the vibes?
Okay, everybody, welcome back to Mom and Cyndi's Moments. I'm Mom. Cyndi's over there doing homework. She may be joining us when she gets. They can't see you. The camera is not pointed your direction, and because you're sprawled out across the table, I am not going to move the camera so that it points in your direction. Nope. Yep. Now you see her behind little man there. Today we're going to be making pizza from scratch, homemade pizza. Well, we're making the crust from scratch and then putting it together ourselves. But the sauce is jarred. So what I've gathered all the ingredients in one spot. Got my trusty little tablet here that's got the recipe on it. And this is a recipe that I've used many, many times. I forgot something. Hang on. Okay, now I have all the ingredients that I need gathered in one area.
You need to be refilling that.
I'll refill it when it needs to be refilled, yes. Alright, so I've already started, I've got my hot water, and I've got my first cup of flour already in the bowl. And I'm just reading the instructions. It says mix 1 cup of flour with sugar, salt, and yeast in a large bowl. And my recipe calls for 1 tablespoon of sugar. Yep, the sugar is actually to activate the yeast or to feed the yeast, so that when it sits, the yeast gets all nice and bubbly and it makes the dough grow. A teaspoon of salt. What?
They didn't have any of the ones that we like to buy, so we made them by the regular machine.
Well, no, you always add a little bit of sugar when you're working with yeast to feed the yeast.
I thought you used to add water to
No, you add water to activate the yeast, to wake it up.
Oh, and the sugar to...
The sugar feeds it. Gets it all nice and bubbly. And then I'm just using a prepackaged, you can use, it comes in a jar also and you can measure it out. This recipe does tell you the amount of yeast out of a jar if you're using a jar, otherwise you can just use prepackaged like I have. It does ask for 1 package regular or quick active dry yeast. This is just the regular yeast. You can buy it in the grocery store in the baking aisle. Alright, so there's the flour, sugar, salt, and yeast in a bowl. Add 3 tablespoons of oil. Fun fact, the lid on your oil container is approximately 1 tablespoon. So, if your little measuring spoon is dirty, broken, you don't have one, you can use the lid, the cap, to your oil to measure out 3 tablespoons. It's not going to be exact, but it'll be close enough. Water. This is very warm, 1 cup of very warm water. My glass measuring, my liquid measuring cup is dirty, so I used a dry ingredient measuring cup and just poured it in a cup to make it easier to pour. Alright, and then, what?
Mom, I thought the dry ingredient cup.
You can use the wet ingredient cup, yes, but no, you can't use the wet ingredient cup for dry ingredients, but you can use the dry ingredient cup for wet ingredients.
That's what I was talking about, because I use that
Yep.
for my oatmeal all the time.
Yeah, and the reason that you want to use a wet ingredient cup over a dry ingredient cup when you're measuring wet ingredients is because it doesn't fill it all the way to the top and you're less likely to spill it when you're moving it around. Alright, and then it just says to beat this for 3 minutes on medium with an electric mixer. Alright, there we go. Well, that's all I need the mixer for. The rest of it's done by hand. Whoops. Come on. Oh,
The mixer is very fancy, but it's also...
a pain in the butt.
Yeah.
Alright, I forgot to grab a spoon.
Oops. Okay, I was about to say, run through.
Nope, right.
Bang, bang.
Alright,
Ooh.
and my
called it a
tablet
bang
here
boom, Mom.
timed out. There we go. Alright. Alright, the next part of the ingredients does say to stir in enough of the remaining flour so that until the dough is soft and leaves the sides of the bowl. So the recipe calls for 2.5 cups, 2.5 to 3 cups of flour. Here's an extra cup and a half. I'm not putting this whole thing in there because I know it's not going to take all of it. Because I've made this before. So I'm going to add about 2/3 of it. And I'm going to just mix it around. And then if I need to add more, I can add more. You want to add it slowly because if you add too much, you can't take it away. If you don't add enough, you can always add more. Just keep mixing that around. It's about the consistency it needs to be. Alright. Alright, and then it says to knead it on a lightly floured surface. So I'm just going to take some of this remaining flour and just flour my work surface here. I don't know if you can see that because the bowl in the way there. Move the bowl so you can see. Just adding some flour. This helps prevent the dough from sticking to your surface. Now, some people will do this like on a cutting board or something, so it's easy to clean up. My counter here is actually butcher block, so it's a cutting board basically. All right, and then put this on lightly floured surface.
Lightly kneaded. It's not
Shush.
kneaded.
Shush you. There. All right, and get a little bit of flour on my fingers so that the dough doesn't stick to my fingers as easily. All right, and then flour your hands to keep the dough from sticking to your hands so much. Pizza dough is very sticky, so it's going to stick to your hands. All right, and then it says to knead this for 5 to 8 minutes until the dough is smooth and springy. So I am going to knead this
For 5 to 8 minutes.
for 5 to 8 minutes until the dough is smooth and springy.
I think
Adding a bit of flour to the surface as needed to keep it from sticking. Now, keep in mind, you don't want to put too much flour down because as you're kneading it, you're mixing in more flour. And you don't want to add too much flour to your dough because it can make it too hard. You don't want it too firm. You want it soft and springy, just like it says. If it's too firm, it's not gonna, when you go to roll it out or make it into crusts, it's gonna break, and then that's never good. So I'm just gonna keep kneading this, and when I am done, I will move on to the next part.
which is putting it in a bowl and putting plastic back over it.
It doesn't say to put it back in the bowl, but I do put it back in the bowl because I don't want the cats to eat it.
Yeah, we've got cats.
Yeah, it does. It says after, once it's smooth and springy, after 5 to 8 minutes of kneading it, which you're gonna get a workout because it's not tough. It's just it's a lot of work. It says to cover it with plastic wrap. I end up putting it back in the bowl, the mixing bowl, and covering it with plastic wrap in the mixing bowl because my cats will eat it. I have one cat that eats plastic. She can't help herself. She sees plastic and she has to eat it. And I am covered in flour. I should not have worn a black shirt. Oh. Alright. Just add a little bit more flour to my surface here. Alright. Alright, so I'm just going to take this, loosely form it into a ball. Again, you don't have to do that. It doesn't say to do that, but I do that so that when I wrap it in plastic wrap, it stays together. I'm going to wash my hands real quick. I'll grab the plastic wrap out of the cupboard. And like I've said this before, with anything that gets your hands dirty, if you don't want to get your hands dirty, just wear gloves. No big deal.
Mom.
I don't mind getting my hands dirty. Part of being a mom, you get your hands dirty. And you just wash them. You probably can't even see me. I'm not even on camera. Alright, it's part of being a mom is getting your hands dirty. It's not that big of a deal. Just wash your hands. You know, if you don't want your hands dirty, that's fine. Wear gloves. It'll keep your hands from getting dirty. Just a minute. We haven't gotten that far yet.
I know.
She wants me to remind everybody, that kids especially, that if you're going to be cooking and using mom's or dad's ingredients or grandma's ingredients, make sure you have their permission before you start cooking, because this can be messy. And always make sure you clean up after yourself. It's not that hard. Just wipe it down. That's what I'm going to be doing while the dough is rising. Let the dough sit and rest for half an hour in a warm place, warm, dry place, and it'll expand. You can see here, it's not a very big ball, but it will about double in size and be enough to make 2 big pizzas. All right. What?
There you can make 1 pizza.
Right.
When it rises, you can make 2.
Yeah.
And a big.
Yeah, 2 big pizzas. All right. So I am going to just clean up the surface while we're letting this rise, and I will see you back here once it's ready to go. Well, maybe. Yay!
I think you always like in high school.
I have my own cheering session over here. Yay!
Yay!
All right, so it's been a half an hour, and as you can see, the dough has risen quite a bit, gotten nice and fluffy. While I was letting that rise, I went ahead and cleaned up the utensils that I could, and then I got started on getting the toppings ready. Got out. There's Cyndi. You hear little men cheering in the background and dancing. What we do when we're not on camera. What they don't know is I did turn the camera on for a little bit, and they captured them being weird. Go finish your homework.
I just have to write definitions down.
Go finish your homework. Alright, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to just add a little bit of oil to my pizza pans. You could probably see that my pizza pans get a lot of use. A lot of love. Yeah, we like pizza in this house. Especially homemade pizza.
Yes.
But we use them for other things too, like, you know, when you're cooking something in a big skillet and that doesn't have a lid, these make excellent lids. Alright, so I just put a little bit of oil on both pans. I'm going to use my hands because I want a little bit of oil on my hands anyway, to just spread it around evenly. And this just helps keep the crust from sticking. Athena, stay out. This helps keep the crust from sticking to the pan, so that when you're ready to serve it, you can get it off without tearing the crust all over, leaving part of it on your pan. And I've already started the oven preheating. You want to preheat your oven to 425 degrees. For these ones, these are going to be thin crust pizzas. If you're doing a deep dish pizza, which is in a thick, deep pan, then you preheat the oven to 400 degrees. That's what the recipe calls for. And I'm going to split it in about half and put about half on each pan. This pan is a little bit smaller, so it's going to get a little bit less. This pan's a little bit bigger, so it's going to get a little bit more. And then I'm just going to use my hands to gently spread it throughout the pan. What, honey?
And also, so that it is a little bit less, if you had spread it exactly evenly, it would be a regular crust. And the one that has a little bit more, once again spread evenly, it would be a thin crust pizza.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, it's not a huge difference between the pans. This one, I think this is a 12-inch pan and this is a 14-inch pan. Not 100% sure. That beeping is the oven saying that it's hot. Again, I preheated it to 425 degrees. So this, I'm just trying to get it to cover the whole bottom of the pan, a little bit up the edge so that there's a little bit of an edge to grab when you're eating it. Alright, and it's not going to stay perfect because I did grease the pan and it doesn't stick once it's greased. It's not going to, it takes a bit to get it to cooperate. And then I just go around and make sure that there aren't any holes or cracks in the crust so that when I add sauce to it, it doesn't, just pour out the bottom. Alright, so there's that one. And do the same thing with the other one. Now what I'm going to do once I get these spread out on the pan is I'm going to pre-bake them for about 10 minutes. And what that does is that starts the cooking process and it gives you a crispier crust. That's important so that you don't end up with, the floppy crusted pizzas that everybody doesn't like. It's mushy, it's soggy, it doesn't taste good, or it'll taste good, but it just feels weird in your mouth when you're trying to eat it. And pre-baking your crust, especially if you're using a pizza pan like I'm using, that's a big thing that you want to do. If you're using like a pizza stone and you're like tossing the crust in the air to get that nice round shape like they do at a pizza restaurant or something like that, and you're not cooking it on a pan, it's not as big of a deal to pre-cook the crust as it is if you're using a pizza pan.
So the wooden things that they stick in the oven,
If that's a brick oven, you're putting the crust itself right on the brick, so it's going right onto a hot surface and cooking it that way. Whereas that's a cold pizza pan.
going into a hot oven.
Going into a hot oven, but the way that they have them at like a pizza restaurant or at an Italian restaurant that specializes in Pizza Luce. They have the hot stones in the oven that they put the pizza on, and it cooks the crust and the toppings all at the same time. Alright, so I'm just going to pop these in the oven for 10 minutes.
Daddy, Mom, Daddy, with you guess the. Oh, you got a new hat.
Oh, that's hot.
Oh, I didn't see one in the store. Until I looked and
They don't quite fit side by side in my oven, but that's okay. I will just rotate them halfway through. Set a timer.
Yes, hi. Karen. The double text.
I'm just going to wash my hands to get the oil off.
Hello.
Hello.
Daddy, come on.
What?
Oh, did
And I'm gonna rinse off the bowl.
What?
Did I leave Elsa in your truck?
Yeah.
Sorry. Didn't mean to.
She was keeping me very cold.
Yeah, nothing.
Why was I about to put the cheese in the freezer?
I don't know. All right, and while those are pre-baking, I'm gonna go ahead and finish prepping my ingredients. Daddy's home! Yay, Daddy. Hi, Dad.
Hello.
I've already pre-cut some. We're doing summer sausage and breakfast sausage. Breakfast sausage is pre-cooked. I made breakfast yesterday, and we're gonna just use up the rest of the sausage that I didn't use in the hot dish yesterday for pizza. Now, Dad likes the summer sausage sliced nice and thin, so that it's not, you know, a big old overpowering bite of summer sausage when you take a bite of the pizza. Get yourself a nice sharp knife. Don't cut your fingers.
Don't
Kids,
cut your fingers off.
have your parents supervise. Parents maybe do the cutting for them if they're not, yeah, they're not good at it. Just pull the paper off.
Ha. Thank you. Did you climb up there by yourself?
He did.
Great.
That's why he's not strapped. Oh. Alright, these the end pieces, these are for eating. These aren't for going on the pizza.
Hey, get there.
And then I just quartered all the slices.
Okay. Should've seen that box.
Is it overflowing?
Hey, Dad. Jeffy was doing this earlier.
Okay,
You're still on camera, you know that, right?
Change it to dry TV. Turn off the sound bar. That way you don't- Turn the sound bar down. Turn the volume down. Put it on direct TV. I need to check something.
There we go. There's that.
That's fine.
And then
Turn the direct TV part on.
breakfast sausage. And get the container open. Let's see, that's already ready to go. Pre-cooked. Alright, just waiting for the timer to go off. I'm gonna eat this.
What I have?
Summer sausage is yummy. I'm gonna wash my hands. Alright, I'm gonna go ahead and rotate these. I know the timer hasn't gone off yet, but I'm gonna go ahead and rotate these so that they get cooked evenly. Oh, Stevie!
You want to turn your fan on?
Just, you know, hot air in my face. Alright. Alright, give that another 5 minutes to pre-cook, and then we will be ready to put toppings on our pizza. Alright, it's time to pull the crust out of the oven. I'm going to go ahead and do that. As you can see, I already put down pot holders or hot pads so that I don't scorch my top. That is actually cooked a little bit longer than needed, but that's okay. Oh, you know, there's one step that I forgot. And that was, you see these crusts are bubble. I'll show you 1 second. And see how there's these bubbles? To avoid that, you just take a fork and you stab it into the crust before you pre-bake it, and that'll keep these bubbles from happening. I forgot to do that, and I forgot to tell you to do that. So, oops.
Do that.
So do that. Or you end up with these big bubbles. And it doesn't hurt anything, it makes it more difficult to spread the sauce. Alright. Leave my pot holder there because I'm going to need it. Alright, and then we're just using jarred spaghetti sauce. You can use pizza sauce, you can use homemade sauce, you can use whatever sauce you want to use.
We're
It
using
doesn't-
spaghetti sauce.
Doesn't even have to be red sauce. You can use Alfredo, you can use ranch, whatever you want on your pizza.
You can use salsa.
You can use salsa. We've done that.
We made
Um,
it really delicious.
This is just a tomato, basil, and garlic pasta sauce.
Really good.
Just pour a little bit on this pizza and a little bit on this pizza. Set that there. And then you just spread it around. If you don't have enough, add more. Again, you want to, keep in mind that you can always add more, but you can't take it away once it's there. So start conservatively and add more if you need to. Like I'm going to need to add more to this one. And just, put the amount of sauce that you want. These are hot, so don't touch, okay? Put the amount of sauce that you like on your pizza. I like a saucy pizza.
Saucy.
Some people like it not as saucy. This family, we like to taste the sauce, so we add a little bit more. And just spread it as evenly as you can. Sometimes it's easier to use a spoon than a spatula, or a rubber scraper. It's not a spatula. This is a rubber scraper.
You called it a spatula yesterday.
Did I? It's a rubber scraper. Sometimes using a spoon is easier, but my spoons aren't very pretty, so I thought I'd use the rubber scraper. It's fine. This is fine. And if you use a spoon, just get a big spoon and just use the back of the spoon and go in a circle. I'm just going to use the rubber scraper.
So
Like with a ladle.
like a ladle or the big spoon.
The big spoons.
The big serving spoons that you
Yep.
use.
Yep.
They
Alright.
serve mashed potatoes.
Mm-hmm. They also work really good for draining grease out of your pan.
Yeah.
Just saying.
Yeah.
Big metal serving spoons are great for grease. But
But
they're,
not really anything.
but they're not so pretty for on camera.
Well,
I do have some pretty ones from the wedding set that we got, but I didn't want to use them for pizza crust or for your pasta sauce. So. All right. Let's see.
I just like saying that. It's fun.
That's all good. Add just a little bit more of this one. One good thing about using a rubber scraper is you can then scrape the side of the jar so they don't end up with the crust around the side of the jar, so that when you put it in the fridge to be used for later, it's not gross. Alright, and once the jar is open, you do want to refrigerate it and use it within, I think, 14 days.
Oh, we can make another pizza with those.
Good, I've done that. Alright.
Maybe
So there's
we can
that.
make taco pizza tomorrow.
No.
No?
Not
Oh,
tomorrow.
man.
Alright, so there's that. I'm going to hand this rubber scraper off to Cyndi. She's going to put that in the sink.
Cool.
Alright, and we're going to start with I think I'm going to do one breakfast sausage and one summer sausage. I thought about mixing them together, but I'm going to do separate. Alright, so just take your meat
I'm gonna wash my hands so I can help.
and sprinkle it evenly on the pizza so that every piece has some sausage. Alright, that, and then you take summer sausage and you lay it evenly on your pizza. I'll do it.
I want to help.
I know you do. That was too thin of a slice. Just let place, because it's hard with multiple hands to not accidentally touch the pan.
But with the cheese, like we can do partially cheese on each.
We'll see. Oh no!
It fell.
Yep, it ended up
Like our,
Right way.
like the cake video.
Yeah.
Soldier down!
Soldier down! You're alright, little man.
Come in. Come in.
That one was funny.
Oh, I didn't cut all the way through that piece. I hope I have enough sausage. I don't have any more. Cut it all up. I should.
We do already start with the second roll. Yeah. Ooh, Daddy heard. Little man crying.
Oh, he wasn't really crying. He was just calling for him. Dad! Dad!
Daddy!
Hey, I need some daddy time in here.
My daddy just got home and he didn't pick me up. He gave me his hat, but he didn't pick me up.
Well, at least he gave him his hat. Athena, out of the kitchen.
Yes.
Out, dog. Thank you.
The cat opened the gate for himself. But
For
also
himself.
for her. What can you selfish? Or as
Not bad. I did have enough.
Oh, and we got pieces left over.
For you. For me. Haha. Alright.
A piece that you just put
And then
on.
I've got two different kinds of cheeses. I've got mozzarella
and Mexican.
and Mexican style. Mexican style, it's just a 4-cheese blend. It's Monterey Jack, cheddar, queso, quesadilla, and asad. I'm gonna screw that up and I'm gonna offend somebody, and that's not what I want to do. So,
Here's a quesadilla.
the other one, the A one, I'm gonna end up
Offending someone.
offending somebody, and that's not what I want to do. So, there you have it.
That's the first
Alright, and just sprinkle a little bit.
Every
Soldier down!
soldiers.
There's 2 of them. There.
Hey, Mom.
Hey, Cindy.
Did you know with geese, there's always, if one has to go down to take a rest, 2 other geese go with it so that they leave nobody behind.
No soldier left behind. It's a good sentiment.
Or as the troll said, no troll left behind. I just realized that, yeah, the mozzarella is very sticks to itself.
It does.
But you just rub it with your hands. I was trying to use up the entire bag.
Well, I'll end up using the whole bag, yes. I mean, it's... Yes, I'll use up that one too.
Oh!
Well, don't do that, goofball. She just banged her hand on the table.
Wrist, to be exact.
Her wrist. Not much left in this bag, we'll just use it up quick.
Well,
And if you don't have to use Mexican blended cheese. If you don't want to use Mexican blended cheese, you can use just straight up mozzarella. You can do provolone, you can do cheddar, you can do Velveeta.
You can do a mix of cheeses.
Whatever you want on your pizza, do it.
What my grandma does, sliced cheeses. She makes a 5 cheese with slices.
Your grandma, my mom, she does mozzarella and she puts Velveeta on top of it. And it's delicious. Dad
Does not like that.
is not a big Velveeta fan. So, we don't do that here. We use Mexican cheese. Or cheddar, whatever we have in the house. This is what we had. We had 1 bag of mozzarella and 2 bags of Mexican. So, this is what we're using. That was messy.
Yeah. I wasn't going to say anything about it though.
It's alright. Cooking is a messy business. It's a messy business. If it's not messy, then you're not doing it right.
And if you want to become a chef, get ready to get your hands dirty.
I need to wear gloves, but yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
If you're becoming a home cook
There
chef.
we go. And then we'll just put these back in the oven and bake them for another 10 minutes, 10 to 15 minutes, and until the cheese is nice and melty and bubbly and yummy, yummy, yummy.
Yummy.
All right. And we will see you back here
Later.
when these are ready to come out of the oven. All right. I can smell that pizza cooking. It is just about done. Timer's about to go off. It's looking great. I'm looking right at it. You can see that I'm not looking at the camera. It's because the oven is right behind me and I can see it. I'm not going to turn the camera around because you'll see it as soon as I pull it out, which I'm going to do now. Keep an eye out for your brother so that he doesn't come touch the oven. Doesn't that look good? Pizza, pizza, pizza. All right. That, my friends, is a homemade pizza. Summer sausage. Breakfast sausage.
Hey, this is our first pizza.
Pizza.
What was our first DIY on the channel?
Giant Oreo cookie cake. Alright, so we're going to let this cool for a few minutes. You could go ahead and cut into it now, but letting it cool makes it so that when you cut through it, the cheese doesn't then just melt back together. So let it cool a little bit, let the cheese cool a little bit, and then when you can go ahead and eat it, because that's what we're about to do. Yum.
No.
Come here.
Alright, so these pizzas have cooled for a few minutes. I'm going to go ahead and cut them up. Get yourself a nice big, sharp pizza cutter. Makes life easier.
And don't let your kids do it once again. Unless they can be trusted.
Well, yeah. Pan is still a bit hot. Just be careful.
Daddy on camera as well.
Alright. Okay. Let's all crowd the lady with the sharp knife.
Let's not all crowd the lady with the sharp knife.
Dude.
I did this. I'm doing it for a reason because it made me look awful.
Ugh. And don't whine about it.
It hurt. What's up?
Don't dig in the fridge right now.
Why not?
Because I'm right here.
Oh, Mom's freaking hello. Math. I told her to do it. Pizza. Pizza. Homemade pizza. Yeah, homemade pizza.
Okay.
Okay. Say Nintendo.
Okay.
Say
Sega.
Atari. Atari.
Hey, Jesse, how about
Sega. Who's that? What are you doing?
He's got summer sausage.
Oh, just chill.
Okay.
Okay.
Cyndi, you dropped something.
That was a fella calling
Where are you going?
to put this shampoo up.
Fine. Come on back when you're done. In a minute. Oh no. You want to touch that? Why don't you pick it up? Go ahead.
All right. Pizza. Cut. Yummy. All right, and then just for my own use, I cut it into 8 slices because it's easy for me to do it that way. All right, and then dish yourself up a slice. Let's see.
Are we going to show them how we eat it?
I just gotta take a bite.
Taste test?
Taste test. One of those. One of each.
What's on your head?
The breakfast sausage one got a little extra crispy, but that's okay. Alright. Then we lost Cyndi for the taste test, so I'm going to taste test it by myself.
Cyndi!
Breakfast sausage pizza.
5 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
Everything takes 5 minutes. You're missing the taste test.
Mm.
Yeah. It took you like 5 minutes to do your job.
Mm.
Let's take it out. Time's over.
That's a good pizza. Alright. Summer sausage pizza.
Uh-oh. Let them have it if you don't want
Drop the pizza, summer sausage. Get your own. My pizza.
Here.
My pizza.
What kind did you want to try?
I'm afraid to touch the pan.
The pan's fine. Is the pan in there? Will they bake on the pan?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I guess I'll have to watch the video
Mmm.
and find out.
That's a good pizza.
So, subscribe.
If you've never had summer sausage on your pizza, you've got to try it. If you like summer sausage. If you don't like summer sausage, you're not going to like it on your pizza. What are you doing? You can just barely see Dad's head. He's sticking his tongue out at the camera.
Hi, Dada. Oh, no, don't.
Alright.
Let's not pull
Well,
out.
what's the verdict, kid?
I'm getting to taste a piece of sausage.
I'll give you my verdict here.
Hot. Mm-hmm.
I want sausage.
Now that is some hot and ready. That's good.
That's a good pizza.
This puts a lot of pizzas to shame. Very good.
Can't go wrong with a homemade pizza. You could, but we won't get into that. Alright. Everybody, enjoy your pizzas. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time. Really? Yay! Yay!
I realized that there's 2
Yay! Yay! I'm gonna do a timer off. What?
Have you ever seen Moe's hardness scale?
Have I ever seen what now?
Moe's